guys, we just ended up getting an insane follow-up to one of the biggest UFO and alien story that we actually had last year in Las Vegas. I was inclined to believe it, and now the more the time passes, myself included, and a lot of people are actually believing the story. And what am I talking about? First of all, I'm talking about the evidence expert examining the Las Vegas UFO video 1 year later. This is coming from NewsNation. Like this video, share this video, welcome on in if you're brand new, welcome back if you're an OG. I think you're gonna be baffled tonight, guys. Get ready for this one. We got 2 different clips here. Roll it. First
one thing to squint at a fuzzy video on YouTube and then decide space aliens do or do not exist. And it's another thing entirely to subject those sightings to the same kind of scientific rigor that puts, say, killers in prison. Scott Roeder is that kind of skeptic. He is an evidence expert and crime scene reconstructionist with 33 years of experience and 1,500 cases to his credit. He is the founder of the Evidence Room, a group that assembles specialists in forensic animation, 3D modeling, and motion graphics.
Shout out to him.
He took a close look at the video that was recorded by that family in Las Vegas, and he applied his technology to try to debunk it. Here he is on his YouTube channel, Crime Scene, discussing what he calls the entity in the family's backyard.
Yeah, and right as we get down to the climax there, guys, if you remember, this happened last year, right? Even the cops saw something falling from the sky, looked like a meteor, but then quickly was figured out that it was not a meteor, and the cops did not respond. I believe they took about 45 minutes because initially they were not taking the report seriously because this family called in the cops and they were like, okay, we're seeing like 9 feet, 10 feet tall beings in our backyard. And in a way, I kind of understand why the cops didn't took it seriously, but it's still kind of like sad. Not necessarily sad, but kind of like terrifying, because what if this was a real emergency and cops were like, nah, it's fine. You know, we're gonna show up like 45 minutes later. Crazy that we're talking about this, but still, I kind of understand where the cops were coming from, but still, I kind of don't if you catch if you catch my drift. But then, in this video, a lot of people have talked about it, and even for me, like I remember seeing like a shadow behind this one, but it's just that nothing really came out of that story till I guess today.
We can take a video and look at whether or not there is an artificial artifact added to it or not. And in this case, we can definitively say, to a degree of scientific certainty, that this entity, this thing in the video, is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there. Like, this is so critical because you can clearly see through the slots in the fence that there is a leg motion.
Yeah, right here. And it's just that I always believed the story. First of all, I gotta say this, I did believe the story when it first came out, and of course, like in my videos, in my recent videos, and the videos that I made right after this story when it happened last year, I always said that I believed the story, but it's just that a lot of people were mentioning that they were seeing like the tall beings, but I was saying like I don't see it. In this shot, I remember like seeing like a shadow, right? That part I remember, but I was like, I don't know, man. We see something is moving, but I don't know if that's that quote-unquote alien. But this video completely baffles everybody. It's baffling everybody right now.
Moving from the right to the left side of the screen. And clearly it is behind there. So this isn't just like a head floating in space. This is a head of that is somehow that does not have full opacity. That the opacity of the head of the shadow is only at about 33% opacity versus a normal shadow, which would be at 100% opacity, or an object in the screen, which is at 100%. And this isn't anything that you did. It's just what you were able to determine, that this shadow being, or this being in the shadows, possibly creating its own shadow or smoky filter or cloaking technique, is not only cloaking itself from the people there, but cloaking itself from the camera itself, in that it's minimizing our ability to identify pixels inside of that shadow.
Yeah.
I'm joined now by
we have another clip. Once this is over, I'll show you that too.
UFO expert Ben Hansen. He's a former federal agent and now the host of UFO Witness on Discovery Plus. Ben, it's great to have you on the program tonight again. So, I mean, your reaction to what, Scott Roeder did with his analytics, the shadow that you saw that was behind the fence as well as way above the fence. I guess your reaction...
I don't remember seeing that head shadow. Maybe I missed it, but I remember seeing the shadow behind the edge, right? Or whatever you call it, behind the... But I wonder, right? What if these dudes actually, there's this guy in front. What if he turned his head around and looked on the side? I don't know, man. So you're telling me that they were not seeing, and obviously there's a lot of speculation, a lot of conspiracies that these are shadow beings that can cloak and all that. And the story is insane, right? Because if this is true, for guys, we do not know whether this is true or not. It's one of those things that either you believe it or you don't believe it. I personally believe that the guy's telling the truth, but is it really aliens? I mean, nobody knows, bro. I'm gonna be bullshitting you if I say, yeah, bro, it's the aliens, it's the aliens. Although I'm a believer. I believe that we're not the only one. I'll just tell you 100%. That's what I believe. Can I be wrong? Maybe. Absolutely, okay? But I think we cannot be the only one. Some people believe we're the only one, and that's fair. It's your right to have that opinion. But I believe we're not the only one. So with that biasness, I guess, now that you know where I'm at, even then I cannot... Nobody can tell you 100%, but the fact that you see something moving behind, what was it, another family member? Were they trying to trick people? Or is this an elaborate hoax? Is this, you know what I mean, right? Where are you guys leaning with this one?
Well, thanks, Ashley. Yeah, I'm excited because it took a while, I think, for anyone to get a copy of the raw video. I don't personally have it, but I'm glad that Scott has done this. I don't detect anything overt as a red flag that I... Yeah.
Okay, this is what I was talking about. In the edge here, you see that. I remember seeing something, just a shadow, right? But I never saw what happened on top, which we saw earlier, and he got this rendition as well.
Say that made me suspect that it was edited. So I concur with him on that. And it also appears that there is some sort of shadow that's present behind the slats of the fence, which he pointed out.
Yeah.
And then you have a head, it looks like, at the top of the fence.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm sorry for pausing here, but I don't remember seeing this. I need to watch the original. Yeah, this is one of those things that I actually missed, I think. And how can I miss this? This is, truly baffling, truly baffling.
I feel it might be a jump as people online then started to say, well, this is evidence of a cloaking creature of some sort. There is a lot going on in the video. If you look, there's 2 or 3 different light sources, and anytime you have that happening, you can have a lot of shadows from different angles. So unfortunately, we'll never have the same exact circumstance where we can go back and test it to see what might be causing a shadow effect. But it's
interesting that at this moment people were not moving, but this thing is coming into the frame. Because I just saw the guy at the front move, and it could have been that was his shadow, but then it's the guy stops and he's moving very slow. It's the movement does not correlates this shadow being movement, if that makes sense.
This one aspect of it, and I'm not sure if our producers can just let the video go, but when they walk in past the gate, something startles them and they freak out. I mean, for lack of a better description, it's not. There's no way this is acting. Actors don't do it this well. Something startles them to the right, and they spin around and they kind of run out, and the video kind of goes, as it would if you were terrified.
It does, and I think that is genuine. If you look, I think they're looking at something towards the back of the yard, and something spooks them. Where I feel that it might be a little bit of, I don't know, call it forensic gymnastics, is to say that it was caused by this thing off to the right, because as you can see right there, that shadow appears on top of the fence, but he's not looking to the right. If this was some sort of entity that was 3 feet away from him, I think that's what would really scare anybody. So that's where you have these theories that people are saying, well, it's partially cloaked, it's fully cloaked, didn't want to be seen, but only the video picked it up. So I don't know about that. I think just based on the video, though, it's great that we have verification that it's not been edited.
I know this sounds crazy. If you're a skeptic, I totally see, like, and it's good. Sometimes it's good to have skeptics, right? Because truly, either you believe it or you don't believe it, and we need both. We need like the supporting evidence, and we need like evidence against it, so we can debunk it and come to conclusion. Because at the end of the day, like, even if you're a believer or not a believer, at the end of the day, I guess truly what both of us want here is the truth, right? Is the truth. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't look to the right. What if he looked to the right? Or yeah, what if what he's saying is that what if the thing was really cloaking and wasn't showing in real life, only on camera? Or what if the thing actually went cloaking mode and you could have seen with your naked eye, but it's just that it was kind of like a shadow thing, so maybe he didn't see. Yeah, maybe his attention was directly pointed at what was ahead. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know, man. It's now sparking up again, so it's truly insane, man.
I know you talk about confirmation bias as well. Explain to the audience if how you think that might be working its way into this as an alternative theory.
Well, if you think about it and go back to the original, the whole background of what just preceded this, is you had this really bright object that streaked across the sky. Yeah. Right. And I do believe that now is a meteoroid, and it may have nothing to do with the family's actual sighting. They believe they saw a light come down to their backyard. There was a lot of light and commotion, noise. And so when they went out to the backyard, they're already adrenaline's pumping. They're hypersensitive to sights and sounds. I'm in no way suggesting that they made anything up, but perception can be skewed now that this is something out of this world we're out to see in our backyard. Yeah. And then anything that might have a combination of shadows or sights they're not used to, it can be amplified in your visual perception. And
it could also be that they mistook it, although I don't want to believe that, but genuinely we're just trying to explore different possibilities, right? What if it was something completely else and they mistook it, but they're telling the truth? Their truth, right? Because there's always three sides of the story. Your side, your truth, the other person's truth, but the truth is always somewhere in the middle. Like, the actual truth is different versus what the other person believes and what you believe, right? So it could be one of those things too, but
this is a suggestion, but I do feel the witnesses are being credible as far as describing what they saw. And especially look at that reaction when they see whatever it is back there and they come running out of there, and it's affected at least Angel to this day. He still has trouble with what he saw.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, and wait, check this out. This is the second clip here. Let me actually up the volume. Okay, play you.
Not only did what happened in Vegas not stay in Vegas, it circled the known universe. The frenzy grew when reports surfaced that unknown authorities had afterwards placed cameras around this family's home. Yeah? The family was driven into hiding, off the grid, out of sight, underground. But 10 months later, the mystery lives on, and looky-loos and alien hunters are still on the prowl. The family posted no trespassing signs, but break-ins have been reported frequently here, as recently as last week at this home. Holy! Tonight, a NewsNation exclusive. The teenager who made that 911 call is finally speaking publicly at length and laying out exactly what he saw that night. And
I'm watching this for the first time as well, by the way. I just skimmed through the video just to see like what was going on, but watching this real time like you guys as well.
What has happened since? Our national correspondent Alex Capriello joins me with that live from Las Vegas tonight. So Alex, it's really compelling with the advent of a year passing almost, that they've had a chance to digest what it is they've been through. They have kept quiet. They are not looking for attention. And yet now you're getting information, especially from this 15-year-old or the 17-year-old, that's pretty alarming.
Yeah, and I've found out from speaking to Angel Kenmore that life just really has not been all that easy for the past year since they saw that 10-foot tall creature in their backyard right here behind me. For him, he says that he's plain and simple traumatized by it all. He says he can't sleep at night. He's become slightly paranoid. He cries at night, trying to make sense, heads or tails, of what exactly he saw that night, playing it back over and over in his...
And this is like one of those things, right? Like, I know the internet culture. Most of you that are watching this video are definitely older folks, so yeah, it's fine. But generally speaking, like, the internet is one of those things. And I love the internet, first of all, but... and I love the memes culture as well, but, like, people are gonna laugh. Yeah, you gonna cry over that crap? Nah, get over that. But honestly, it's one of those things, right? You don't know till it happens. So I don't know, man. Maybe his experience truly was to that level where he's this traumatized, or maybe he's just playing an act. I mean, you wouldn't know, right? Because you're watching this, I'm watching this, I'm like, yeah, cool story, bro, cool story. You're crying at night over that. It's been a year, but I mean, if you truly saw that thing, I don't know, man. And it's people are not necessarily afraid of the idea of aliens. People are afraid of the unknown. This is why, like, most people just get scared of what happens after death, right? Because either you believe there's afterlife or you don't believe it. If you believe there's afterlife, deep down you have that comfort, but if you don't, then that's a different story altogether. But yeah, fear of the unknown is the main thing. But guess what, people are more afraid of public speaking than actually dying. Absolutely insane. That's a real statistic for you folks out there.
His head, you can imagine the torment that's going through in his head. But to this day, none of the family has a very good explanation about what exactly they saw that night. But to their credit, they've stayed pretty consistent about the facts and the details. I really grilled him about that, trying to get him to remember as much as he possibly could about that night. Here's a portion of our conversation.
They should do like
What do you remember about that night? What do you remember seeing?
Oh, star dug in, I guess. We were in the backyard fixing a truck, and then out of nowhere we just see a big light fall down and basically crash in the backyard. And moments after, like a couple seconds after, I saw the big giant creature in front of me. The alien, whatever you guys want to call it. The alien, demon, whatever you guys want to call it.
What do you believe it is?
A demon.
A demon?
Yeah.
So maybe that's changed, that once you thought it was an alien, now you believe it was a demon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, you know, only God knows what it was. But I'm thinking it's like something bad, you know, not a good thing.
Was it moving? Was it doing?
Yes, it was moving. You could see, like, he was breathing, like he was like pissed off, like he wanted to do something.
And he was looking at you and your brother?
He was looking at me, yeah.
Did he say anything?
I remember he was growling like a dog, like he was growling.
When did it end?
As soon as I closed my eyes, I guess. I don't know. I think I was praying or something like that, and it just let me go. That's when I went inside, and you know, I saw my dad. I mean, I saw it too.
It felt like it had a control.
You know what, like when he describes that it's a demon, like it's a thing that's looking at me and just like growling like a dog, this kind of actually reminds me of the story about Skinwalker Ranch, if you know what that is. And Skinwalker Ranch is definitely one of those stories that is not an urban legend, because there are so many witnesses about it. And I believe one of the, I don't remember the name, but he's an actual billionaire. I believe Robert, his name, could be wrong, you correct me if I'm wrong, for sure. So they bought the ranch and they were there for years and years, and they actually had real scientists, real credible people with real credentials. They stayed there at the Skinwalker Ranch, and the experiences they had were truly bizarre. It's like some saying that they saw beings, right? Lights in the skies, portals opening, all of the crazy stuff. There used to be a family that bought it, that lived there. They were saying that, you know, portals were opening, some beings were coming out of it, and then they were so terrified that they ended up selling to that billionaire, because that billionaire caught the attention, or that billionaire was basically, he saw this story and what this family was describing. So the billionaire was like, okay, you know what, I got all the money in the world, let's you know, do a real study. And they stayed there for years and years, and they truly did discover like crazy events. And what they said was that they had cameras ready to capture, but it's like stuff would happen when, you know, cameras wouldn't be around. So I believe they said they captured some stuff, but it's very insignificant. So basically the moral of that story was, they think they truly say that they have witnessed some bizarre stuff, but it's just that whenever they try to capture it, they couldn't really get it really on camera. There are some, I believe, videos, but I could be wrong on that one. My memory is foggier than Snoop Dogg's bathroom right now, but the best video to watch on it would be one of the Mr. Balance video. He did a video on Skinwalker Ranch, and it's one of those stories that is truly, truly bizarre, and this might kinda is bringing me back to that time when I heard that story for the
All of
first
your
time.
body?
Oh yeah, I couldn't move. I couldn't move, yeah.
You were it
Everybody
felt
said-
like it had a control of your body?
Oh yeah, I couldn't move. I couldn't move, yeah.
You were paralyzed at the sight of this thing,
Yeah, I couldn't move.
and you were looking at it for 30 or so seconds, and then all of a sudden it was gone.
Yeah. That was pretty creepy.
A lot of people think that that's just hard to believe.
That, you know, like I said again, they can think whatever they want.
Yeah.
What do you say to the people who believe that your family just made this whole thing up to try to get attention?
They can believe whatever they want, you know. I'm not doing it for fame. If I did it for fame, I would be on YouTube and stuff like that, doing more videos, but I don't care, guys. I just went on TikTok and YouTube, made my story. That's pretty much it. I made no money off this. I want people to know that. I made no money off this. I don't need money. That's pretty much it.
And even if he did, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But obviously that would throw a lot of people off, and people wouldn't believe it. But the thing that happened here is that he talked about it, I believe, when it happened a couple of times, which is fair. And then we didn't hear about the guy till today, till now. So I do think that the guy's credible, and he's sticking to his word like 10 months later, almost a year later, and not changing the story, and just saying what he experienced, like quote unquote. But if you want to believe that or not, that's up to you. I think the guy's credible, but it's just that there's always what if, right? Is it really true? There's always going to be that question, and rightfully so, but
They can believe whatever they want.
I bet you hope it doesn't happen to anybody.
Oh, no, hopefully not, no. I hope God, no. Really bad experience. Really traumatizing.
And Ashley, I don't know what your impression of him was, but when I was speaking to him personally, I was really struck by how confident and authentic he was about his memories of that night. There's a lot of people obviously out there in the world that would make up ghost stories in order to chase any sort of clout or fame. But to me, Angel came across as somebody who truly believed that he saw something that night in that backyard right here behind me.
Yeah, Alex, he didn't really seem to have canned answers either. So if this was all a big ruse, he's either a really, really good actor, I mean, Meryl Streep quality, and, you know, he certainly didn't script it, didn't seem to plan out answers, you know, at the grasp. I do want to ask you about the family. You know, this is the 17-year-old finally talking at length about his experience, and boy, did he ever add some details there, that what he saw seemed to be angry and breathing heavily, with growling, looking right at his brother and him, and that he felt frozen, which is an account we've heard from other people who have felt that they've seen something out of this world before, that they've been frozen and unable to move. What about the family? Does the family back him?
yeah.
Yeah, the family.
But now the conspiracy is that, like, did they freeze because it was just so scary and shocking that your body response was, oh shit, like, oh shit, what am I seeing? Or it was the alien or the demon, whatever you want to call it, that being was controlling them. I don't know.
It does, although they're much less willing to go public about it. I spoke to his mom, who basically said that she has no interest in speaking about it because she just feels differently than Angel. She feels like nobody in the world is going to believe her. Angel, on the other hand, while certainly not trying to publish his case widespread, he feels the need to share it because he wants the world to know what he saw, and also he wants the world to know that his family is doing okay and moving forward. In general, the family wants the spotlight off of them. Take, for example, all these no trespassing signs. There's at least 4 of them. But at this time, they are just basically saying, look, we don't really want to talk about it anymore, but we still stand behind the things that we saw that night.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Smile, guys, you're on camera. But recently this happened. We had a UFO that actually landed, and we have that video on security cam. But there is a but in the situation. You wanna know what's that but's all about? Yeah, check out this video on the screen, and I'll see you right there on the left. It's another video. If somehow you have seen that UFO landed video, check out the other video instead.